Thank you for attending our Crosstalks, and I'm really excited to talk with you. Can you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your background? What motivated you to become a AR creator?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So my name is Rory. I'm based in the US, and I have been in the field of AR for, I would say, loosely 4 to 5 years. What motivated me to get started was I wanted to see my work larger. You know, most of the time when I create, it's like on my computer screen, I'm looking at it like on my phone. And I really want the opportunity to have it displayed like bigger than life and in places that it wouldn't ordinarily be able to be shown, and to not have the limitations of people, I guess, gatekeeping environments. And so I started by just getting my projector out and trying to go around different spots of the city to shoot my work. And there was trouble with power outlets, like lighting, all sorts of stuff. And that led me to think about AR. And so I jumped in, and there wasn't really that many, there weren't that many tools available at the time.
Lou?
I found one, it worked really well. It got discontinued. I was really bummed out. And right around that time was like when everything started changing in 2020, I would say. And it's been like history from that point on. Everything I kind of did in the past, I'm like really focused on mixed reality now because I think it's such a great tool for storytelling and sharing.
Mm-hmm. What do you say, like comparing the brands and your clients, how it is being evolving? Do their mindset is changing or?
Well, I've had like a unique experience where I've done not so much work with brands, but I've done work for like consulting and kind of thinking more about the field of AR and the creative uses for it. And for me, I think that path has led me down a different way of thinking about AR for business uses and for, uses in which can be monetized, but offer something more to the person that's on the receiving end. I think that a lot of what we experience in the business of AR is trying to go for engagement, numbers, monetization, gamification. And for me, I feel like there's just like, that's the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. There's so much to do with how we connect with each other in a meaningful way, and how we can go to different environments and find rejuvenation there, find curiosity, the desire to explore, to see things differently. And so that's like what my focus is, my passion is, and where my heart's at. And I hope that like companies really catch on to that sort of idea because there's just so much there. And I feel like if you give people value, they're going to want to come back to you. And it's not just a matter of something has potential to go viral or not, because we're creating reality here, and I think that we have to think more about, can this go viral, and think more about like, how can this like
change? Yeah,
humanity for the better. Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. And like, I sometimes feel really sad that a lot of people still don't realize what is the technology about. They see all these try-on campaigns and to see how to sell the products, but not the storytelling. Can you show us or tell us about your most notable AR experiences, and what was the idea behind it?
Let me think about that. Notable for me is where I get the opportunity to do something I haven't done before.
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity twice where I was able to take either projection or take my work like as the backdrop animation to have my AR overlay it.
Mm-hmm.
There's this wonderful thing that we can tap into where it's not just about like having AR overlay our world as we see it, but it's about also exploring ways in which we can take whatever it is that how we would normally show our work and augment it. I see people doing that with like their paintings and images. And I think that so much more can be done with like immersive experiences and projection and screens and actually having like 3D sets involved. I think that there can be like, unlimited potential with that.
Uh,
I didn't talk about the experiences exactly. I'm so sorry. So one of us in Chicago, and there's like this crazy long screen. It's called 150 Media Stream because it's like a 150-foot wall of like these jagged panels. And the experience for me was to be able to take the space, the panels, and incorporate that all into augmented reality with reflective, environment or sculptures. And the same for my work in Denver. It was this wonderful space with like 3 different screens. I got to basically have like a triptych of, animations overlaid with various reflective AR experiences as well that incorporate the environment into the experience as well.
Mm-hmm. So what was the main objectives for these 2 experiences?
I'm really about having my work be immersive in a way in which it incorporates everything. Like it has light play with your environment around you.
Mm-hmm.
It includes your environment in a way in which every time you view it is different. Every moment is different. There's like this ability to have like this experience kind of live. And I think that's just like so incredibly magical.
Yeah. But also, like, whenever creating these magical experiences, you have to be sure that these are user-friendly for each user on specific platforms. So how do you ensure that whenever you just want to put a lot of stuff in the experience or you want to go outside of the box?
Well, I come from a place of trying to think like a child. I everyone to be able to just jump in. And even if it like I feel like you shouldn't have to necessarily go into an experience with directions. I want people to explore. I think in some ways, like that can jar people because you don't get many opportunities where people are just like, go explore, have fun. Just don't even worry about attaching so much meaning to it. It's about living and exploring. And so when I create, I want it to be something you automatically are thrown into it. And you want to look around. The colors are vibrant. There's things that happen that you may not expect, but there's simple things that you like just discover. And I just feel like having it be an open-ended experience is just so important to me because I love going to new places and exploring them and just going out into nature. I want to incorporate that sort of feeling, like you're going out into like this digital nature to explore. Enjoy.
I totally feel you, whatever you're saying. I'm reimagining it. But for example, at Crosscreators, we always have a problem. So whenever we are kind of like explaining the brief or just making them visualize what we mean, it's not always easy people to imagine what you mean. So what is your secret, how you explain all this magical stuff and how you confirm from there that all this magic can happen, not to interrupt with their ideas at the end of the day?
Well, I feel like for me, like I have like a pretty big catalog of work. So I always want to share my experiences with people. I'm like, get in there, like open it up. Don't just do the standard thing of look in a mirror with it, because oftentimes they include you in the environment. Mm-hmm. And that's like a moment where things kind of click.
Yeah.
Where people can kind of understand and that's the beauty of AR is like, you don't have to just talk something to death. It's like, here, experience it. And if you have questions about it, like we can talk about that, but that's like the fantastic thing. Like you actually have the ability to put people into it so they can see, and then you can elaborate on that, when there's things that haven't been done before. You can talk about how that might look, and they can see that from your perspective and how you already see things.
Yeah. Can you walk us through into your creative process, like where you start and where do you find these exciting ideas?
Sure. So, like, for me, I am a mad scientist. It's like,
Oh.
just sit in there and I just like have to go for it. There's times when, you have to have a particular idea in mind and you start from there.
Mhm.
And there's times when, that isn't a necessity. And either way, for me, wherever the starting point is, the end goal must be this must feel right. Because sometimes something may look right, but there's like no feeling there. I
Yeah.
think
So
this, yeah. So like even like with musicians, someone can be technically like amazing, but there's no passion, there's no like. And so I want to create experiences where like, yeah, you feel it, and like that's like my aim and my goal, no matter where I start.
actually, I have seen quite a lot of creators, and like you have the highest level of passion talking about augmented reality, and I adore that. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's so like amazing to me because it's just like, it's, well, for me, I think about things in a number of ways. I think about myself in a number of ways. And, when you think about like AI becoming sentient, that's something I've been thinking about forever. And I have like these flashes where I see myself as like this incredible being that's like not sentient, like maybe I'm the one who's held and arrested by these thoughts of who I am. And I think the same thing is true for like thinking about AR, VR, MR. Like we're holding ourselves arrested in terms of who we are as creators. Like we really are creating reality, and we need to think about it as such, and think about, even if you don't agree with that, like what responsibilities and what comes with that, because we're going to be living our lives in this digital realm more and more. And it's just, yeah, I'm very passionate about it because I want life to be good for everyone. I want us all to have like something better than what maybe some of us experience presently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes boring, sometimes harsh reality, what we're having right now.
Yeah. But it's all in how you look at things, And so I think that like with mixed reality, it gives us an opportunity to really reimagine how we look at things in that space and also in our own lives. Because you just have the right tools. You just have to have the right tools to like see things,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will be amazing if augmented reality was in wide adoption right now. Um, but as we see, not many people, as we want, are using augmented reality in their daily lives. So, what kind of blockers do you see? What are the main challenges that this massive adoption is not happening yet?
Well, I feel like it goes back to like my thoughts of this has got to be something that gives you something. We're pulled in a million different directions. And I think we're at the point where we have to have an experience that gives us more than just like, oh, wow, like this is what I look like with green eyes or blonde hair, and then you take it away and you're like, oh, I do wish my nose was smaller. Like those are experiences that you walk away from and deplete you somehow. Or when you're in an experience and it's only for a very narrow-minded focus, those are experiences that give back to you. Those are experiences that take away and drain you.
Mm-hmm.
When we start creating things that actually really add value to people's lives, people are going to adopt it. And I think that like it really begins with a phone. Everyone has a phone, right? For the most part. Everyone is pretty much on social media. I think that there isn't a barrier with technology to AR. The barrier is the value, and things can go viral and whatnot, but that's like a flash in the pan. No one even remembers.
Yeah, they don't even know that this is augmented reality.
Yeah, they're not even thinking about whoa, this is, yeah.
So, what can this society should know about augmented reality, and how we can collaborate, maybe just to shout out more about augmented reality? Like, what is the main value? What we have to be like shouting out every day, each day to each person we meet?
I think that we need to shout out a lot of different things, and some of them don't even necessarily pertain to augmented reality in and of to themselves. I think that we need to open our minds to thinking about reality in general and how we want to engage with our world, and how can we do a better job of that. How do we want to engage with others? How can we do a better job with that in ways we can feel more vulnerable, but more safe, more connected, but also, in the space of being alone, like still having this feeling of being nourished and nurtured. I think if we can bake that into thinking about our experiences, people are naturally going to gravitate. I think that we need to think about like encouraging a discussion of what it is we want. Because we have the opportunity to create it now, and it hurts your brain. But it's like we need to think about what it is we want, our responsibilities, and try to make that happen. And I think that if we open the door to that sort of dialogue, that energizes creators. Hopefully that energizes people with the funds to back the projects. If you have this opportunity to explore, to create, to make mistakes, to make discoveries, you're going to get something that, like, I think is a lot more exciting than if you just keep going down the same narrow path. So I want people to talk about this being open. This is like a whole new beginning, and we need to treat it as such and have dialogues about it that excite people about the potential.
True that. To jump back on the work side of augmented reality, like while having discussions with the specific kinds of brands, like some might have their own specific idea around their brand identity, their objective, and maybe sometimes brief as well. So how you treat collaboration with such kind of people who already know what they want and it's kind of not resonates with your ideas, with your style?
Like in situations like that, like I feel like it's always good to have a visual idea of what they're into, what resonates with them, or what they're going for, and that you listen to them and try to figure out like what their, not just like what their end goal is, but like what is it that they really want to accomplish? Because I think that sometimes we have an end goal in mind, but there's something else that we want to accomplish too, and to kind of like figure out and vocalize that, and to let them into your experiences and show them your work so they can see like, what resonates from that, and try to come to a place like where you're both at an understanding. And I personally like to like do several different iterations of an idea. I feel like 3 is the charm. The first time you make something, it's hard to push it out. And then you come up with something, you're like, okay, that's something. The second one, you're like, you think you've made the best thing. And then the third one, where you really push yourself, you like get to this level of like, that's awesome. And usually that's the one that like both you and the client are like, yeah, this is the one, let's go for that. And so that's kind of how I like to work.
Yeah, that's great. What would you say to beginner creators who are just stepping in augmented reality? Like what best practices can you share with them to make their work more engaging and amazing and exciting?
Well, I think that, you always have to start with what is your intent? Like, what's your intention? Are you making work that like for like learning purposes? Are you making work to try to tap into what's happening now and to get the attention of people who want that? Or are you making work that like truly comes from a place of like wanting to learn and to create work that really resonates you and tells your story? Or is it like a multitude of things, right? I think once you start with that, you can kind of start navigating your path and how you want to go about things. I think that for me, it's always important to have your eyes open, be looking around, even if you're not in the process of like creating, always be in the creative mindset, and trying to like look for new things, discover new things, whether that's in your environment, whether that's like new tools, figure out how to create on the go, figure out how to just be in this like constant flow of like creating in some fashion or form. I always tell myself I need to have like multiple balls in the air at like all times. Because if you drop one, you still have other ones going, right?
Right.
And so just do as much work as you can, learn as much as you can. Don't necessarily look at what other people are doing and feel pressured by that. And to let it always come from a place that feels good here, because you're naturally just going to produce more work and learn more and do more from that place.
Yeah. Sometimes creativity levels are going down and you don't feel high all the time, of course. And how you, like, what is your secret that you're keep going and not stopping?
Well, I mean, for me, like, I love going out into nature, taking walks. I love like having a practice that coincides with my work, but also is something that just helps me to keep my ideas flowing, as well as helps me to have a moment of pause and peace. I feel like it's a delicate balance between being constantly productive and creative and also giving yourself space to rest and to think, because you really do need that.
Yeah.
And sometimes, when you come upon these creative blocks, it's just your mind saying, I need to chill out and like have another avenue. And for me, in the past, like I've made my other avenues as far as my art is concerned. Like maybe I do time-lapse photography. Maybe I do AI work. Maybe I, do AR work on the go, not on my computer. Maybe I'm working, in VR space. I switch it up, like how I'm producing the work, and that helps me to make new discoveries and not exhaust myself in just one manner of creating.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned several times VR. But like to take the percentage, like in which team you are mostly, like to fully engage in virtual reality or to make better our reality? So team of AR or VR?
Well, I think they both like have like purposes, I think that they both have like things that are so integral about them in terms of what they offer us and our abilities to share an experience. Right now, I'm steeped in AR because I feel like things are about ready to just bust. Everyone has a phone. Everyone has access to this.
Yeah.
VR. You need the headset, and you have to keep upgrading your headset, right? And like a barrier to entry. AR, you can enjoy it with your friends. You can enjoy it in a way in which I feel is more. It's just more for me right now. There's just more life there. There's just more like ability to have an experience that invites more and isn't closed off. And so I have to say, like, that's where my real passion is right now. But I do see myself delving into VR more when it comes to like wellness practices and meditation and experiences that just really pull you in and you want to block this world out.
Right. Well said. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So imagine that someone has come to you and is asking about augmented reality, but how could you explain the benefits of augmented reality to use in marketing with augmented reality, if you had this opportunity?
Sure. Augmented reality offers so many possibilities in how people can engage with their work. For me, like I envision a situation where like you can bring your cool storefront to someone, like, like having like your storefront that's beautifully decorated and have that be an experience. There's things about your business that are already happening. You can bring into someone's living room right now with very simple technologies. And even if things are not perfect, that's okay because this is new.
Yeah.
And people are just wanting to have like this, like, very like tactile and very like novel experience. And this is something that, like, just like, say, for instance, in the 90s, certain people had like catalogs that you could purchase stuff from. And they didn't see that as an asset sitting right there that they could pull in and make a website from. And, that's where we're at now. You can take things you already have and bring them into people's reality now. And I think that's huge. You have a gold mine that you can use right now.
Yeah. Amazing. So what excites you the most into the future of augmented reality?
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, it's just so wide open. Like, it's just so incredibly wide open that I don't think that I can pinpoint it. I think it's going to transform everything. I absolutely know it without a doubt. I hope that the way in which things are transformed are we get to look at ourselves and our reality differently. You know how I mentioned you need to have the right tools to see things in a certain way sometimes. And I believe that technology lets us have a mirror into what's already going on. And, when you're in an augmented experience, it's just showing you that there's so much more beyond your capable vision that exists. This isn't just for augmented reality, because technology and everything we discover it's not a new invention. This is us just borrowing and finding out something about how our reality already works.
Yeah.
And if you're able to take technology and see it in that way and do more profound and amazing things with technology, you can think about yourself in a more profound way too. And I'm like hoping that's like what touches on, is that like our minds and our eyes are open and we start treating our own reality differently and having like better results.
Amazing. Thank you for this interesting and exciting insights. Our time is over. Thank you for this. Like, I already love you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Yeah, because like whenever I also talk about augmented reality, like I feel you right now, because like you're not only talking about like how to make money with augmented reality, and that's what matters, because like if going through the money, like reality will never change. So like thank you for that, being such a good person, and like to sharing all these amazing ideas.